The first campaign stop I had was in Ferguson. I spent 3 hours in a basement room with about 50 of the Ferguson activists, listening to them tell the story about what it's like to be, in that context in Ferguson as an African American. And what I think the meaning of Black Lives Matter is, people are focusing on the black part. The thing to focus on is the lives part. When you have a system of fundamental inequality, what that does is systematically disempower people. And in America, to be disempowered as a black person means it's not just that you're not getting roads built or that ambulances take longer to get to an emergency. It's that your life is not respected, so that you are actually risking your life to be a black person driving in certain areas because we have institutionalized this idea of inequality so deeply in America. Ferguson is like an amazing example of how they've structured their tax system to basically tax through fines. It's taxation through citation. And police officers aren't police officers, they're tax collectors. So you park your car, you get a traffic violation. You don't pay that parking fine on time. You get a fine on top of that. You don't pay that in time. You get an arrest warrant out for you. You're facing $500 because, and these are not people who have $500 in their pocket. So they've just decided in this county that the simplest way to raise money is to tax the least empowered political group, because what are they going to do? They're going to elect a candidate to overturn that decision by the political power. This is just a manifestation of the inequality that this campaign ought to be about. And if we could have a campaign where we actually talk about equality as the solution to the corruption of our problem, we could stand with our black brothers and sisters and say, yes, what you're saying is just the most profound instantiation of this fundamental problem. It is the one we have to attack first. I completely agree, but it's the same problem that we all face. We don't have a democracy. The idea there isn't second-class citizens in America. It's kind of a joke, right? We have this rhetoric, this historical rhetoric. There are no second-class citizens in America. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? It is defined as a system that creates second class. It's not. We have got business class and then we have second class. That's the rest of us. And until we find a way to rally people to fight that, we're not going to get anything. And until we have Democratic candidates who are even willing to say that, we're not going to get anything. And not one of them is saying that now.
Ironically, the conservatives worry about a tyrannical government. But there is a tyrannical government that says, I'm going to turn my police officers into tax collectors, but they're going to be able to do it with a gun, right?
And that is what we have. That's what they have.
And there you have it. And then they, of course, ironically turn around and back that system, right? It's happening before your eyes. But now we're all black, right? What blacks in America faced for a long time, including today, we all now face, because if you're not a billionaire and you're not an insider, we're all in
in one sense, I completely agree with you. Of course, we are all in that sense unequal. But of course, we're not all black in the sense that you and I don't worry about teaching our son how he needs to deal with a police officer when he gets stopped. Like if you're an African American father and you don't teach your child how to deal with a police officer, that is malpractice as a father. But I don't need to worry about that with my kid. Why? Because my kid is white. My kid is white. And so in one sense, that's right, and we ought to rally people to recognize that. But we can't forget the absurd history in America of this fight to achieve equality on the basis of race, which is the biggest stain in our history. And we still are nowhere close to addressing that adequately.